same time they haven't recorded it. Oh,
that's new, isn't it? It happened to me yesterday.
Oh, that's new, isn't it? It's telling everybody, I guess.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Okay, ladies, we're recording this session for the benefit of those people that can't make it today, so I hope that's okay. Erin,
no swear words.
Yeah, no swear words like last night. So I have great pleasure in handing the stage to the amazing Erin Thomas Wong. Erin, thank you so much for coming along to deliver a session to our lovely members. The creme de la creme are here, and I'm going to hand the floor to you.
Thank you very much, Jill. Thank you. So I'm going to be sharing some slides to walk through this, and we're also going to do a couple of breakout rooms to discuss things as well. But what we're talking about today is building a life-friendly business. And although I do a lot of work with mums, this talk is relevant to anyone, because also, as we were talking about this morning, it's about other people in your life that you might be caring for. It's whether you've got hobbies that you want to integrate into your life as well. So it's all about creating a flexible business, really. That's what we're talking about. So I will share my screen. Okay. And yeah, feel free to use the chat if you've got any questions as I go along, and if I see them, then I'll answer them if I can, and if not, I'll come back to them. So we're talking about how to build a life-friendly business. And first of all, I'll just kind of clarify what I mean by life-friendly. And as I said, really, it's about creating a business on your terms, something that is flexible, that you can work around your other commitments. But also it's about working at your own pace and carving your own path, and not being negatively influenced by all these other people around you, making you feel like you need to be doing more and being more busy and achieving more all of the time. So yeah, it's something that I'm finding more and more women especially are choosing to design a life-friendly business, because, you know, the traditional, you know, corporate working, you know, careers that we have, they just don't give us the flexibility that we need. So in this talk, we're going to cover defining your own vision of success, the one thing that you need to have in place in order to create a life-friendly business, and how to get more done in less time, because that's something that's really important with this. You know, if we want to have like more time to enjoy life, it means that we need to be really efficient in the work that we do in our business. And then we'll have a chat at the end. So first of all, for those of you who haven't met me before, I'm a business mentor, speaker, author, and founder of the Mumpreneur Collective and the Cocoon VIP membership club, which offers the training and the experts on hand, and also the sisterhood to help you grow your business. Last year, I published the Mumpreneur Evolution on Our Terms book, which is a collection of interviews with women in my community who are all building businesses around family life. I have had 5 businesses. This is my 5th business in the last 13 years. My first one was a franchise of small print fingerprint jewelry. I was the co-founder of Ealing Mums in Business Network. I was the founder of Pitter Patter, the Hub for Bubs, which were venues for baby and toddler classes. I did an online nature shop with my mum, and now Mumpreneur Collective, you'll be glad to know, is my one and only business. And through one-to-one mentoring, masterminding, and the Cocoon, I support and empower other women who are building businesses around family life. And just to say as well, obviously, I know the name is Mumpreneur Collective, but the community is open to all women. And like I said, more and more, I'm having lots of women coming to me who don't have children, but they want to work flexibly and they want to do things on their own terms. And that's what's really resonating with them. So did you know that 81% of women have had negative feelings about returning to work after having a baby? And I certainly know that for myself, I worked in television production, and I thought, how on earth am I going to go back to that career where I was on call all the time and, you know, working long hours at the drop of a hat? How was I going to do that and be the mum that I wanted to be? Also, 79% of women would be willing to earn less to have the flexibility of running their own business. And, you know, I know that at one point when I was looking to get a job because my business wasn't earning enough and I needed to get some kind of like stable income, the kind of jobs that I could get that would mean that I could work around school hours and things like that, I was overqualified for and I would be underpaid for. So there's more and more women that are making these decisions. And really the holy grail is flexibility and fulfillment. We're not talking about, you know, just getting a job which pays the bills, or, you know, building a business which is going to bring money in. We all want to do something that we love and that we thrive on. And, you know, it's not just one thing or the other, it's a combination. I've just realized, so the chat is not actually showing me the messages. This is a funny thing, this has changed. So I might have to look at them afterwards. Okay, so
if there's anything comes in, I'll let you know, Erin, if you like.
Yeah, thank you.
Anne's asked for the details for the cocoon, so I'll do that too.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Now there was a review of of female entrepreneurship, the Rose Review, and it said that female entrepreneurs with children said that primary care responsibilities are the #1 barrier to further success. Now, we know the ridiculous cost of childcare, and this is, you know, massive for a lot of women who, well, to be honest, for me, even in my career in TV production in London, when I had my first son, and we worked out the cost of me returning to work and putting him in childcare, and I would have taken home £400 a month after the cost of childcare, and that was in a really well-paid TV job. So it's just ridiculous. So these are the kind of challenges that women are facing. And also, I think it is the fact as well that it is true that women carry this invisible load of caring for others, and that is definitely going to have an impact in what we're able to achieve in a business sense. Another thing that came out of the Rose Review was a lack of relatable mentors, and that's why I think, you know, Jill and I, you know, we need to be standing up there, because, you know, I've had mentoring clients come to me who have had mentors and coaches. Like one of them, the coach was actually a woman, but my member had 4 kids, and every time she had a session with this coach was one of these, like, earn 6 or 7 figures and do this and do that, and you need to be doing this, and when are you going to do that? And she said to me, I just constantly felt like I was failing, because I've got 4 kids to look after, and, you know, my time is limited. And that's why I think it's so important to have people who, you know, are very clearly, they've walked the walk and they understand what it's like to be trying to build a business when you've got these other responsibilities. So how do we actually achieve this life-friendly business? The first step is to define your vision. Just one sec, I'm just going to move this. So how do you actually want your life to look? These are the kind of things that is very easy to overlook. We're so busy on a day-to-day basis, and especially with our businesses, we can find ourselves just constantly treading water and not actually taking any time to look at the bigger picture and look at the overview. So how do you actually want your life to look? Also, be realistic about the time scale that you're working to. You know, if you're used to having, like, working full time in a business and working 50-hour weeks or something like that, and then suddenly you know, you've cut down and you've only got 10 hours a week to work on your business, you need to be realistic, because otherwise you're going to feel like you're constantly failing. And that's something that I find time and time again, people putting so much pressure on themselves to be achieving all these, like, huge things, when actually you've got less time to work and you've got other responsibilities that you need to fulfill. I'm not saying here not to be ambitious, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about being kind to yourself and not overloading yourself. And also decide how you will measure your own success. This is one thing that I find has become a little bit toxic in the online world, especially. I don't know about you, but I am being bombarded with messages about the fact that I should be wanting to earn 6 or 7 figures. And if that's not something that I'm aiming for example, then I'm doing something wrong. And I'm speaking to women all the time who are feeling just really disheartened by this. Now, for some people, it inspires them, and I totally get that. But for others, it is becoming quite toxic. So don't be swayed by comparisonitis and imposter syndrome. You know, this is the thing. Everyone has their own measure of success, and you really need to understand what yours is so that you're not swayed by other people. And, you know, someone down the road, their measure of success might be earning 7 figures and driving a fast car and having a big house and doing all those things. And that's fine for them. But for other women, a lot of women that I work with, their measure of success is being able to do something they love, working around their kids, perhaps homeschooling their kids, or a lot of women have kids who need extra support or family members that they need to care for. And success to them is being able to do all the things that they want to do, run their business, earn good money, look after the people around them. So try and work out what that is for you. And I really love this infographic about how we're taught to measure success. Really, you know, we're brought up to think it's all about your salary and job title. But actually, there are so many other things that we can measure success by. And, you know, for me, I measure my success on how happy I am. You know, I love what I do, and I've designed that by the impact that I'm making, by the flexibility that I can have in my business, my own well-being as well. These are all measures of success. So, like, obviously we all need to be earning money in our businesses. Of course, we need money to live, we need money to, you know, create opportunities and all those kind of things, but there are lots of other ways that we can measure our success as well. So I would love to put you into breakout rooms and just have a chat about how you're measuring your success right now and what impact that might be having on your mindset. Maybe it's something that you feel absolutely fine about, but for some of you, you might feel like you're kind of beating yourself up because you're not achieving X, Y, Z. So it'd be really good to kind of chat amongst yourselves and work out, you know, how you are measuring it at the moment and whether it's something that you could reframe to feel more positive about. So Jill, so
yeah, I've done it. I've created it.
Oh, you've done it. Oh, you're on it. You're on
it. You ignore the message, obviously, because you're going to stay there, aren't you?
Okay. So, and what do you want to do? Like 10 minutes or just 5 minutes?
Well, we're in twos. Well, a 2 and a 3, so 5.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Lovely.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll open all the rooms and then I'll join one of them once they're open. So join your room, ladies. Just check everybody's going before
right, I'll check the time. Oh, can you manage it when you're in a breakout room?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't worked out how to do that yet.
Well, unless they've made changes, yes, because if you go, I've made you the co-host.
Oh,
so
okay.
You should be able to. It's up to you, really.
Yeah, no, so I can.
So if you join room 1, I'm going to room 2. And then, well, I can close it in. I can do the 2.5 minute halfway through bit if you want.
Okay, yeah, could you do that, Jill? That'd
of
great.
Course.
Thank you.
All right, darling, I'll go to room 2.
Right.
But
I'm going to stop it.
Brilliant. So how did people find that? Do you feel like you're quite clear on how you're measuring your success, or did you have any kind of realizations?
We didn't answer the right question.
Oh, what were you saying?
We were just talking about what success looked like.
Okay.
I mean, there was an element of measuring it, but more about what it looked like. Do we think?
Yeah, I do think, but actually I think for me it was one of the same thing, because when I was quite taken back when Erin, you said what you're going to ask me to do, and I realized I've been successful in what I've been doing, because it pinged straight into my mind what it was that I would be measuring my success. I mean, it's at the beginning of its journey, and my measurement of success is being able to have the funds and the freedom to travel, because once it's open again, that's what I want to do. So, you know, I was really quite, so although we didn't address that in exactly the right way.
Oh, no, I think we probably did. It was just me that didn't.
We did. We just didn't know. I think we had the right discussion. I just
we did. Yeah. We're all very excited. That was the best thing. All our various different things, we're all quite excited. So that was quite nice.
Yeah.
I think that is what's really important, is to take time to reflect on where you are right now and recognize the different things that you are already successful in, rather than feeling like, you know, we'll only be successful when we reach this level. And that's where, when you're, you know, when you're measuring it against finance or income, that's where you just feel like, well, I'm not there yet. Yeah, lovely. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is, if it's not working again, is something that you really cannot achieve a life-friendly business without, and that is boundaries. When I've talked about this before, people have had some real light bulb moments, mainly realizing they don't have any boundaries, which is, you know, is totally common and normal, because, like I say, we don't think about this stuff for ourselves. But boundaries, like the definition of boundaries, are the limits and rules that we set for ourselves within relationships. And boundaries are what we need in order to be mentally and emotionally stable. And I think, as well, as a business owner, especially if you are the face of your business, if you are like a service-based business who is giving out to people, helping people all the time, it's so important that we have boundaries so that we can protect our energy. So this is how life feels without boundaries. So you can tell me if any of these resonate for you. You constantly over deliver and end up with burnout because you're always feeling like you need to do more. You resent others and sometimes yourself. You feel like your work is never done because there is no off switch, and you feel a slave to the people around you and to your business. And this is the thing, I'm going to have to look at the chat now, see what people say. Been there, yeah, absolutely. You know, it's so easy to happen, and what we need to do is make sure that we understand what our boundaries are so that we can communicate them with other people. Because I just think, you know, like most of us here, I'm sure, we just want to help people and we want to do more, and we're just giving rather than thinking about how to protect ourselves and our own boundaries. So what I'd love you to think about is, what are your non-negotiables? You know, what do you need? It's not about what other people need, it's about what you need. And you know, for me, like I want to be able to work around school hours, and when I pick the kids up from school, I don't want to be chained to my desk. I don't want to be on a call for 3 hours when the kids have just got home. I also want to have the flexibility around school holidays. I want to be able to go to sports days and school plays and things like that. But also I need time for me. And, you know, that's something that I never used to, I used to hate being on my own. I used to hate my own company before I had kids. And, you know, the older I've got, the more I absolutely love my own company, and I love having time to myself and in my own head rather than being talked at all the time. And that's something that I've had to learn to communicate to people around me, that I need that, and to not feel guilty about that. So just take a moment to scribble down any thoughts that you have about your non-negotiables. Okay. It's not letting me open up the chat for some reason, but we can always come back to that. So you need to set your boundaries. Once you've decided what your non-negotiables are, you need to ring fence them. And, you know, you do have the power to design your work-life balance. It's so easy to feel like our businesses are running us rather than the other way around. And like I said before, that's often because we're so deep in the day-to-day of things and we don't give ourselves any time. I like to call it CEO time to think about the bigger picture stuff and actually step back And you know, we can just feel like it's running away with us, but really it's up to us to put those boundaries in place and you know, set those lines. You also need to communicate boundaries with those who need to know, and that could be your partner, your kids if they're old enough to understand, you know, your family, but also your clients. Setting boundaries with your clients, what they can expect from you, manage their expectations. If you reply to their emails at 10 at night, they're going to expect a response at 10 at night, you know, next time they email. If you're on social media 24/7, they're going to come to expect that. That might be okay for you. You might work in that way and that might be okay. But what I know for a lot of people is that they start off that way and then they start to really resent it, and they've kind of already created those habits. It's never too late to change things, but sometimes it's just, it feels harder to put those restrictions in place. But you know, manage, like you can do an autoresponder on your email. I know someone that says, you know, I check my emails at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. You know, if you have sent this after 1 p.m, I will get back to you tomorrow morning at 11. You know, it's very straight. People know what to expect. You know, if it's urgent, call my mobile. You know, there's lots of things that you can do to be communicating that. And also recognize that every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And if you find yourself saying yes to other people's urgent and yes to things that actually don't benefit you or your loved ones, but just because you feel like you should try and help someone else, you're actually saying no to other things that you might need. So do have a think about that. So the third part, oh no, I was going to do this one now. Time to discuss. Let me know, Jill, if you, do you want to, because I know it's just a small group, we could go off and talk about this, or we could just have a chat at the end. What do you think?
Yeah, I think probably a chat at the end would be a good idea if we're, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think
okay,
so.
We'll have a chat in the end about the boundaries, and maybe if you feel like there are some things that you feel out of control of that you'd like to reclaim some power with, we could chat about how you could do that at the end. But the third part of being able to create a life-friendly business is about getting more done in less time. It's about being more effective with the work time that you do have. You know, I really, I remember reading The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And, you know, he talks about the culture that we're living in when you work in an office 9 to 5, that a lot of that time you're actually finding things to do to make up that time. And that actually, you know, we could get everything done that we need to get done in order to do that job well in literally a few hours. And that's really, really stuck with me. And it's similar to this in terms of focusing on what's going to really move the needle in your business. Now, there's a guy called James Wedmore. I don't know whether you've come across him. He's kind of a digital marketer. And he says that only 5% of your activities lead to 95% of your results. So basically, your to-do list is probably 95% stuff that you could sack off or that you could put on a back burner, because actually only 5% of the things that you're doing are actually going to lead to sales and to business growth. And the truth is that we don't have time to be faffing with the 95% when you want to be building a life-friendly business. So one question I'd love you to think about is, do you know why people have ultimately bought from you? Do you know why that they made that decision to actually press buy or send you an email or book in for a call? And this is something, if you don't know, it's worth going away and looking at things. And you know, if you work one-to-one with people, you can ask people. If you're a product-based business or you have stuff coming through your website, look at your analytics and try and work out whether you know, a particular campaign, a particular email or a particular social post led to that sale. But we do need to know this stuff. So did someone convert because of an email that you sent out, personal outreach, a returning customer, Facebook Live, social media post, a free webinar, or an offer? So all these different things might have been the thing that converted that person to buy, in which case that's your 5% activity. And I'm guessing it wasn't because you cleared your inbox and filed everything neatly, because you'd spent 3 hours on Canva faffing about which photo to use, because you spent months deciding which platform to use, you finally tidied your desk, you spent 3 weeks perfecting your about page. These are all things, these are all our 95% that we spend so much time doing, and actually they're not the things that make that sale. So here's the thing, you actually need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because I bet that the thing that actually created that sale was something like personal outreach or a phone call or doing a video, which might be the things that you feel cringy about, or you don't like doing, or you feel like you're being too salesy. But these are probably your 5% activities that you need to be doing more of. So you might be thinking, yeah, but what can I actually do about the other 95% of things on my list? Because it's unrealistic, isn't it, to say that they can all be deleted. But this is where systems and processes come into play, really, and being much more organized. And it's, I know, you know, from my own experience and from lots of women that I work with, that when you work on your own, you know, you kind of get into bad habits of, you know, I know where things are, they don't have to be filed neatly, or they don't have to do this. But actually it's really good, especially if you start outsourcing and have like a virtual assistant or an accountant, it forces you to put those systems and processes in place, and actually they're going to save you a hell of a lot of time. You know, one thing that I find so many people fight against using payment platforms like PayPal and Stripe because of the commission that they charge. But the point is that just saves you so much time. And also it's easier for the customer to buy as well. It is such a faff to set up a direct debit to pay someone, a standing order, all those things. Like, that's why, you know, PayPal and Stripe, yes, there is a charge, a commission fee, but you should be building that into your prices and using it and embracing it to save you all the time that you'll be spending trying to do it manually. Automate as well. So there are probably lots of things in your business that could be taken care of by automations, and like, you know, email nurture sequences, also you know, onboarding processes when people have bought from you, like to book a call with you, maybe to check in with them 2 weeks later after the call, like that can all be automated. And always keep a list of the nice to do. So, you know, I find myself reprioritizing every single day on my list. And I know that there are some things that I would really like to do, and I think that they would be good, but I know that they're not my 5%. So, you know, don't just ditch them, like maybe keep a notepad of those kind of things. And let go of perfectionism. This is something that it's so easy to get paralyzed by, but in the kind of, you know, online world that we live in, you know, it's not there forever. You can go, even if you've put a post out there, you can go and edit it, or the next time you post it, you can make it better. If you do a Facebook Live and you just think, oh my God, that was absolutely awful, as long as it's not your inner critic just talking, if genuinely you stumbled on what you said and blah, 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 you can just delete it. You know, with websites, like most websites these days, it's so easy to change. It's not the same as when you had to have someone else making it for you and you didn't know how to do it because it was all so complicated. Like, they've made things so easy now that you can go in and change it. So kind of, it doesn't have to be perfect in order to take action. And we do need to be taking action. Otherwise, we're just going to stay stagnant. So yeah, let go of the perfectionism. And also stop saying yes to other people's urgent, because that's probably taking up a lot of your 95%. And that also ties into the boundaries with your clients and customers and things like that. You know, it's really making sure that you are protecting your time, the time that you need to work on your business effectively, and not just trying to please other people all the time. Often those things as well that people are asking you to do probably don't bring in any money. It's just all for the, you know, pulling at your good nature. So I want to talk as well in this section about learning to let go in order to grow. And this is something that I know that solopreneurs and micro businesses can find really hard, because, you know, often our business is our baby and it feels like we're the only one that can do the things in the business, but you're just not going to be able to scale in the way that you want to scale. And I'm not saying here scale to a 7-figure business and all those things. I'm just saying you want to be able to run a successful business that's going to pay you well around family life. So you need to be as efficient with your time as possible. So if you are resisting in getting help in your business, do ask yourself why. Fear of success is a very real thing. Like perhaps something that's stopping you is thinking, oh my God, what if this does actually work? What if I do sell however many products? What if I do get 10 clients? How on earth am I going to manage them all? You know, that is something that goes on in people's heads that actually stops them from taking any action at all. And it totally is possible to grow your business without sacrificing time with your family. And that's where outsourcing comes in. If you are spending hours doing admin tasks and doing accounting tasks and faffing around with Canva, doing social graphics, which someone else who is in their zone of genius could get it done in 1 hour, and it's taking you 5 hours, it's worth you paying someone to help you with that, because with those 5 hours that you free up, you can either get another client or work on sales activities to sell more stuff, or you could have 5 hours with your family. So try and see things differently. And also, you deserve to feel supported, and it's okay not to know everything. And that's where, you know, reaching out and getting help, like being part of a business community, getting a mentor, getting a coach, those kind of things. I think that, you know, for me personally, I went for years trying not to spend much money on my business, and I took as much free stuff as I could. And yes, that will get you a certain way over a longer period of time. But as soon as I changed my mindset and decided to invest in support, to me as a person, as an individual who I needed confidence building, and I needed advice about how to get the foundations right in my business, and all those things have been invaluable to where I am now. And it's speeded up the process so much more as well. So, you know, I think that that I know that the transition from going from a career into starting your own business as well, so many people feel like they should know everything, you know, and they feel embarrassed about the fact that they don't know certain things. But in the business, you have to wear all the hats, and it's going to be impossible for you to know everything. You know, I think all of us would say that we're self-taught in so many different areas. So just accepting that you don't know everything, and that's okay, and just reaching out and getting the support where you need it. So don't get trapped in the hustle, and take back control of your business. Like we were saying, you know, don't just have your head down every day, scrabbling, and never look up to breathe. I really, really recommend scheduling in time every single week. I call it CEO time. It's blocked off in my calendar every Tuesday morning. And during that time, I can do whatever I feel like needs to be done, whether it's working, whether it's watching Netflix, or whether it's going for a walk. Thinking time. It's my headspace time to think about the bigger picture, to step back and think about it. And honestly, you know, if you feel overwhelmed with how much stuff you're trying to cram into your week, even if you can block out 2 hours a week and have that as your buffer time, it's going to do you the world of good. And just knowing that, you know, you've got no one booked in at that point, you don't have to be anywhere, and you can completely do what you need to do. And it is that time when we have blue sky thinking that the most creative stuff comes to us as well. So this is something that we could chat about at the end as well, is, you know, which areas of your business do you need support with right now? And what action are you going to take to fill that gap? There's a real double-edged sword, isn't there, between thinking like, when I earn more money, I'll invest in getting the support, and sometimes we have to take a risk, and women are much more risk averse to taking out finance and things like that. I mean, it's fascinating. When my husband started his business, the first thing he did was like, right, I need 100k of investment, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, like I've never invested that much money over the last 12 years or whatever. But his mindset was very different to mine. And I think that that is very common. It is a generalization, but I think that generally as women, we are more risk averse to putting finance in. And I'm not saying that you should go and get loads of loans or anything like that, but just think about how you are viewing that investment, and whether it makes sense to keep waiting. Like, are you just going to be stagnating in your business, or does it make sense to take a leap of faith and invest in getting some help to move you forward? So in order to get a life-friendly business, you need to decide on your vision and how you're going to measure your success, because this is all about doing it on your own terms. It's not about looking around at what everyone else is doing. Everyone has got a different idea of success, and you need to create your own. You need to set your boundaries and communicate them with those around you, which may mean having some difficult conversations, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have them. And also you need to keep focused to achieve more in less time, and learn to let go in order to grow. So I just love this quote, so I'm going to share this quote with you. And one day she discovered that she was fierce and strong and full of fire, and that even she couldn't hold herself back from her passion, because her passion burned brighter than her fears. So that's one thing that I just, I think we've all got to decide what it is that we want, how we want our life to look, and we need to just push past all of those fears, all of those inner critic stuff that try and stop us from getting there. I'd love to speak to any of you. We can have a chat now, but I've got a free Facebook group, the Mumpreneur Collective. That's my email address and my website, and you can find out about the Cocoon on there as well. But I'll stop sharing now, but I'd love to hear your thoughts about this.
Erin, thank you. Fabulous, as I knew it would be, because I've heard you speak a number of times. I've put the link in the chat, which I'll circulate afterwards, to the podcast I did with Erin, because that gives you a little bit more of an insight into this amazing woman. But I'll leave the floor to others if they've got thoughts, questions. Did you want to talk about boundaries?
I was interested in lots of stuff there, Erin. It was absolutely excellent, your talk, and I could resonate with so much what you were saying. Boundaries have been a real challenge for me, especially over the past 6 months, where I also sort of have done on-call support for people who are bereaved. I work as a volunteer for a bereavement charity, and the past year has been particularly difficult for people who are grieving, because they haven't been able to process grief in a normal way. So planning my day, planning my time with that, and also with caring for my sister who has been going through cancer treatment, has meant that I've had to be really fluid with my energy and my time, because I do a lot of focus on energy, my own energy, and support other people with their energy. So it's been a really unusual time for me in creating that space and time. And I'm one of these people, I love people, but I also am a very private person and needing that space and time on my own. So for me, the measure of success, certainly in the past few months, has been about trying to keep as sane as I could and do the minimum I could do to get by, so that I was there for other people. So it's been a very strange way of living, really. But it's one that sort of worked for me. And obviously I've all sorts of things planned, because I only set up my own independent business a few months ago, last year, during lockdown. All the things that I had planned to do obviously were put on one side, and that was okay. I mean, I started off by berating myself a little bit and getting a bit frustrated, but there was absolutely nothing I could do about what was going on around me, so decided to just go with whatever the flow was. And keep myself reasonably sane, reasonably healthy, and sort of get through the other side. But I was really interested what you were saying about the quote about passion, because one of the comments I made in the chat was the fact that I was a complete workaholic in corporate life, and a perfectionist, which is quite a toxic cocktail. But my passion for work burnt me out. And I call it the Punisher's creep factor of burnout, where you often don't see what's happening, or you're so busy you don't notice what's happening until it actually hits you. So that's something I obviously avoid at all costs now. And I'm really careful about where I put my energy, actually who I spend my time with as well. And that includes other people, family members as well, people who drain my energy. I try not to spend much time with them, or none if possible. So yeah, so I suppose I've got a rhythm in life rather than routine, and very much driven by what I feel I'm capable of energetically of doing from one day to the next.
I really resonate with the energy stuff. I feel like during lockdown as well, when all the other noise was deafened by us just being at home, that I have been even more aware of my natural energy peaks and flows. And I think that creating space in your week to allow for that is, I mean, that has just made such a huge difference to me. And I think that, you know, so often we do just schedule in back to back, like every day. And like, you know, I know as well with mums with school age children, it's like, drop them off, work, look up, it's time to pick up, rush to school, pick the kids up, and you're completely like, whoa. And like that, yeah. It's just, and no wonder it leads to burnout. And also the thing about passion, you know, so many of us, when we start a business, it's something that we love and we're passionate about. And so we're happy to do extra, and we're happy to be available all the time. And I, you know, and I catch people right at that beginning bit who were saying that, and I'm like, yeah, but you won't always feel like that. And like, try and rein it back before you reach the burnout, because it is like, we have to protect our energy. I totally agree with that.
I think it can be, it's so true, but that's the hard bit when you are passionate and when it's something you do, because most of us know all this stuff, but you get so consumed by it and excited. And it's the good thing, I think, is having people around you that can go, do you want to think about how many hours you're doing?
Yeah. That's so important, Jill, having those other people who are see more than you do sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, Anne, you made me think of, I remember my mum always saying to me to bend like a willow tree.
Oh. Yeah.
And that's exactly what you've been having to do.
Yes.
The last year. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a huge learning experience for me over the past 6 months, because I haven't had to care for someone who's been so ill before. But yeah, so and it's something I say to people, we have to put ourselves first in terms of looking after ourselves, because we can't be there for other people if we are not as fit and healthy and balanced as we can be. And I've really had to live that the past few months. Yeah.
So are you going to adopt some of these new ways then, Anne, even though you don't have to?
I
guess that's...
Yeah, I am, Jill. I absolutely am. I'm becoming more and more discerning about what work I do and where I put my energy and who I spend time with. And I think you'll know that.
Yeah.
There's some networking groups I used to go to that I've come out of.
Yeah.
And it's suppose it's given me a much better appreciation of, you know, working with kindred spirits and collaborating with people who share similar values and vision to me, and not just going to meetings because I feel I should be there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I completely agree with, I've never been driven by money necessarily, and I'm still not. It's about being of service for me and doing work that will support other people in whatever they're trying to do. And that is a great reward for me when I'm able to help people transform their lives.
The truth. Any other thoughts, anybody?
First, congratulations, Erin. That was a brilliant presentation. Thank you. It was really clear and easy to understand, and the time went really super quick. And there's so much content in there. It was really lovely. I resonate with a couple of things. I had a sort of a realization just before we went into the breakout room that there's the bit you said about how do you want your life to look. At the moment, I'm moving house. Well, our house has gone on the market this morning. And I suddenly realised that that's actually, stop beating myself up about everything else. That's actually right now a good goal to be working on. But I liked your 95%, 5% thing, because you do get so caught up, faffing out with, you know, that thing that's not actually going to make that much difference. So, you know, maybe you've got your big to-do list. It's quite nice to look at it and say, okay, out of that whole to-do list, what's the 5% that's actually going to make a difference? And let's just do that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really good.
Absolutely. And that's something that, yeah, think about every day, think about, and even if you've got 1 hour to work, if you do something from your 5% activities, it's going to make a difference to your business. Or you could spend it doing all the tiny things on your 95% and then feel like you haven't achieved anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So that's really helped. Thank you.
Super. Anybody else?
Yes, just briefly. Thank you, Erin. That was really thought-provoking and really interesting. It made me, well, it's helped me to think actually I've made some decisions which are good because I thought about them a different way. But I've just as an observation is that my 95% is usually my avoidance techniques for doing the 5% scary things.
Yes.
Like talking to somebody on my chicken list who I think I'm overly attached to the outcome of a conversation. And that's what I do. So I find myself going off when I know I just should be talking to somebody, which I don't have a problem with, but I do contacting somebody, but I just think, oh, I'll just go and do this because I definitely need to do that before I can do this. It's like it's avoidance techniques. Yeah. It's like finding everything else to do in the house because you know really ought to clean the oven type stuff.
Yeah.
I remember listening to a talk where they were talking about like sales conversations and how we're so good at like negotiating ourselves down to no and not even giving someone the opportunity to say no because we're so scared of rejection. So, you know, it's like, it's so true.
That is so me. You know, I actually in network marketing. I'm very different from what I did before. And I got lots of lovely customers and everything, but I still have got that mental salesy stuff because I know that network marketing hasn't always had a great reputation, and I've been on the end of some pretty aggressive stuff myself, but that's not how I operate. But sometimes I just get all this negativity, and instead of seeing them using one of my products, I'm just seeing the opposite. And it's so easy, isn't it, to get your negative thoughts being portrayed. Yeah.
So one of my favorite quotes about selling, because I also, I have really struggled with selling, and I wouldn't say that I'm over that. It's still like something that I work on. And the kind of sales mindset is it's getting easier, but someone said to me, so selling is simply offering the opportunity for you to help them.
Yes.
You're offering someone the opportunity for you to help them.
And if they take it.
Yeah, if they can take it or not. And yeah.
So I'm a work in progress on that. I definitely agree about the 5%, because doing what I do, if I did an hour a day of all the things I should be doing instead of the other ones, I'd have a different business. I know.
Feel a bit of accountability coming on there, Annette.
I know. I'm just messaging somebody, and I've found in my business a new accountability buddy, but I do need an accountability buddy, I think, outside my business, because that.
Okay.
Anyone else got anything to share? How about outsourcing? Are any of you outsourcing? Like, do you have a VA or an accountant or anyone doing bits in your business that you don't want to be doing yourself?
Well, I just started actually, and I was quite proud of myself for this lovely lady in my village. She's quite inexperienced, but she's just trained to be a VA, and she's very reasonable price. And I thought, well, over the past 6 months, while there's certain things I can't really do myself, could take me hours to do it, she's been able to support me. And I've been doing a few talks recently, and she's helped me put some slides together, presentation slides, using my branding, because it would take me so blooming long to I mean, Jill and the others know that I'm not at all technical on social media or on IT or anything. I'm much better at just talking to people and doing that stuff. So she's been fantastic, and she's even going to help me set up a sort of an accounting system, but just actually collating expenses I've had in creating my business, and as and when I'm charging to have something set up. And for me, I could probably do that, but it's just the time it would take me to do it. And I thought, well, actually, I think I've made quite a good decision there. And yes, it's costing me money, of course it is, but it's not massively expensive. And for me, it's better that I pay her to do some of these things rather than me take hours to try and work through some of it all. So yeah, I've been quite pleased with myself about that decision.
That's brilliant. And it is that thing of like, you know, yes, you probably could do that yourself, but it doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, you know? I just know I'd lose the will to live with some of that stuff. Yes. And I get such a heart sink, and my energy would just dip. And Bev is my speaking coach, and Beth keeps saying to me, look, you don't worry about getting a fantastic profile on LinkedIn or doing some stuff, or just focus on what you know you can do, and all of that stuff will follow. So I've been focusing on making connections and building relationships on LinkedIn. At the moment, I've just got a personal Facebook page. I still haven't set up the business page yet, Jill, but most of my work at the moment is my communication is on LinkedIn, and I've got quite a good following there.
Yeah, that's the place to spend your time then.
Yeah, so that's what I've sort of focused on. But and Canva you've mentioned, and I'm the sort of person I would love to play with that, because I'm quite a visual person.
Oh, it's a very big black hole.
Really sunk into that, you know. But that could be something that I asked this lovely lady in my village to support me with as well.
Yeah, I love Canva. Sorry, Annette.
I was going to say I could spend hours on Canva because I love playing with that, but that's in my 95%. I do not need to be spending hours on Canva.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely get lost on that.
I think it's really important as well to support other people who, like your VA, that I bet that person's really excited that she's got that extra business.
She is. I mean, I'm her only client at the moment.
And that's really important, isn't it? To let people do their bit that they do well, even to get a cleaner, so that's in somebody's business to do that for you whilst you can do something else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's really important to do that. And then you're all working together, and that's always the best way.
Well, I'm a great believer in supporting small businesses and local businesses in particular. And this lady's had quite a lot of illness, and she's got a husband who's only 40 who had to leave work in January after a stroke.
Oh,
so there's a lot of challenges for them, and she's absolutely delightful. She's lovely, and she can't do enough for me. So we're going to have really good partnership working. So it's great for me. As you say, Claire, it is good for her too.
Yeah, really.
And that's the thing. Sorry. I was just going to say, but this is the thing about selling, isn't it? And this is what I was saying last year during lockdown as well, is that if you've got a product or service that's going to help people, it's okay to sell right now. And actually, if you sell, then you're going to grow your business and you can employ other people. Like, we all kind of help the economy keep turning, don't we? And that's another good way to think about selling when you're feeling icky about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really good. Really good.
Yes, and I think your point about Claire about getting a cleaner, it doesn't have to be something that's directly related to your business that you're outsourcing, does it? Because you know that. I mean, I got a cleaner in because I fractured my wrist, but actually I'm not stopping that now.
Excellent. I mean,
I think I've got other,
there's more things in life to be doing.
Absolutely. I'll tell you something funny about that. A few of you know that I had quite a horrible knee injury, and it went on for about 18 months or so. And I've got a very small cottage garden, but I love gardening, and I couldn't do it. I had a local gardener from my village who's 83. who would turn up at 7:30 in the morning while it was still quite dark. And I'd hear him scratching around in the garden. I thought, bloody hell, I better get my clothes on and it's okay. And 4 hours, for 4 hours, he would work solidly. And he's absolutely fantastic. And he's got about 6 other clients in the village, and he spends 4 hours every morning, Monday to Friday, when he can, doing their gardening. Then he goes home and does his own garden in the afternoon. But I didn't think he was going to turn up at 7:30 in the morning. And he had like a miner's lamp round his head, so he could see what he's doing. I thought, my God, what's that noise outside? But, you know, it was, I mean, and that's, well, obviously a pensioner, you know, in my village, but he is fantastic. He's a really good gardener. He knows all about the plants, and it's been a great help for me. And I'm able to do more now than I could last year. But and I
still there, is he? He's still your gardener?
I still have him helping me, even though sometimes I don't really need help. But you know, it's for him as much as me, you know. But I was blown away when he turned up, you know, and I thought, I knew he was a bit elderly, but you know, 83, you know, amazing.
Fabulous.
And how good is that for his mental and physical health?
Wow, yeah, he's really struggled during lockdown, I have to say. And I mean, he could go and do gardens because he wasn't having contact with people. But that's what really keeps him going. As I say, he's such a passion for gardening. He does his own garden when he goes home, and his garden is absolutely phenomenal. It's beautiful. It's really well looked after. But no, it's and as you say, Annette, it's about. It's not directly related to my business, having a lady in or someone in to clean, but if it frees up some time that doing something that's more related to our work, then
And it's the cumulative effect of all these different things, isn't it?
It
that is the issue. It doesn't, as Erin said, it doesn't have to be just about what's in your business. It's all the other things that we have to do as women as well. It's kind of, isn't it?
Well, I've got somebody that helps me in the garden as well, but he's doing the heavy heavier things that and also because I am taking stuff out of the, you know, I've just had my shed knocked down, all sorts of stuff going on, and just get rid of things, but doing the things I haven't really got the big stuff. I could do, but I don't. I'd rather pay him to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've learned from my mother's mistake where she moved quite a large tub in her garden and got some chest pain, and a few days later she was dead.
Oh no!
Because she had a blood clot which she didn't know about, and in lifting the heavy plant pot in the garden, it shifted the clot.
Oh goodness!
So absolutely no warning, completely unexpected. Suddenly died at the age of 65. And her heart was strong, very strong, but she, that's what moved the blood clot. So just overexerted herself.
So, any more for any more? Erin, you've sent me the slides, so you're okay for me to share them?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the recording with those that couldn't make it. So I think we're not going to drag it out just to go to 1:30. Once again, Erin, thank you so much. So much value, as I knew there would be. I shall send a follow-up email with the recording and the slides and a link to the podcast.
I'll send you the slides again because I might have fiddled with them since.
Oh, all right then. Yeah. Okay.
You know what it's like, last minute.
If you could do that today, because I'm away tomorrow, I want to send it out today before I head off on my road trip.
Have an amazing time.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Where are you going, Jill?
I'm going to the North York Moors in the caravan with Mr. Smith. The North York Moors, Northumberland, Berwick-upon-Tweed.
Lovely.
Scotland.
Oh, where are you going to Scotland?
A site near I thought it was Loch Lomond, but it's actually near Loch Tay.
Oh, lovely.
And then Keswick in the Lake District. And then a night in Ilminster on the way back.
Oh, beautiful. Well, you might see some old ladies on Harley Davidsons in Scotland.
That would be really good. I'm going to go and research that now.
And lots of Highland coos, of course. Lots of Highland coos, Highland cattle.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, fabulous
Okay.
time. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Right. You take care, everybody. Thanks again, Erin.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Love you all. See you very soon.
Yeah,
Bye.
take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.